Welcome to Arcade Couch, the best place to chill with your friends and get your gaming goodness every Saturday usually, but today it's coming out on Sunday. I'm Dylan Blight. Joining me today live from Audio-Technica booth at PAX Australia 2019, Ashley Hobley.
Hey Dylan, excited to be here and just do exactly the normal show that we do every single week. Not related to PAX at all. We've got to cover the stuff in China about Blizzard. We need to talk about Galarian Ponyta. It's going to be a crazy episode.
Yeah, sure. Also, Cherie Henriques is here.
Hello.
And she does the exact same intro, even if it's in public. It's fine. Yeah, so we're at PAX. We're kind of not going to do... I'm going to... Behind the scenes, we book it. We're like, oh, we're doing the show at PAX. I'm like, can we think of anything that's not just... Can we think of a subject that's not just, oh, we're live at PAX. What games did you play? No, I couldn't think of anything, so that's the show you're getting. I do want to, before we get into the top 3 games, though, because I've heard a few comments from people around the show this year about PAX this year being a bit boring, I guess, like not as exciting games, and I have a few thoughts about that and disagree, I guess, but I'll get everyone's opinions on that. Ash, do you feel like PAX this year is less exciting stuff around, a bit more boring than previous years?
I feel like there are like bigger titles, but there's less of them than there were, or less titles in general, like from the AAA people. Obviously, you've got Final Fantasy, Avengers at PlayStation, and then I don't even know what they had over at Xbox off the top of my head. But
their only new game,
Minecraft Dungeons
Minecraft
and Bleeding
Dungeons.
Edge.
Yeah, Bleeding Edge, which was in early access or whatever anyway. So
yeah, so I feel like we're in a weird place at the moment where there's stuff just about to come out that they didn't bring. Outer Wilds, they didn't bring. Jedi Fallen Order, they didn't bring. All sorts of stuff that they could have brought that they didn't for whatever reason. But
bloody EA at E3 is like, yeah, we'll go set up our own show, and they don't even show up at PAX.
I know. What's up with that?
Come on, guys, get into
Where's
it.
their conference budget going?
Yeah, shit out. Cherie, how do you feel?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think there's a lot of stuff that's coming out very, very soon. There's in regarding like indie stuff, there's a lot of stuff that we've seen before last year, but a lot of stuff that you can either, it's coming out on the Switch that are previously out on other consoles. But yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of repeat sort of stuff. Not as much hype for me this year.
Because I guess my feelings boil down that when I come to PAX, I usually walk away with my favorite game being some random indie thing that I've never heard of anyway. And I honestly can't even remember what I was super pumped for last year. And although most of the games here, I played Final Fantasy 7. We'll talk about that shortly. I played Avengers. I played, Watch Dogs was doing some demonstration, whatever, cool. Cyberpunk's doing 45-minute demos if you care to watch that, even though it's online, I think. But, it's the end of the generation, and I think that's just kind of how it feels, and people, misunderstanding it. Whereas I feel like next year's PAX will surely just be, massive, the freaking Xbox 1080p 4K ray tray 8K machines coming out. Get hyped, Ash. You don't look fucking hyped over there.
I don't like that name, that's all.
Jesus Christ, the PS...
I think it'll be the Xbox.
Okay, you can pitch them if you want. They're over there. You can pitch them. The PS5 Pro Edition and all sorts of stuff will be coming out next year, so there'll be lots again. This year is literally the end of the generation is basically coming up mid next year. It's like Last of Us comes out, Cyberpunk comes out, Final Fantasy comes out, and then we just kind of sit around and twiddle our thumbs for a bit. We watch the trailer for NAC 3. We get excited about the PS5 Pro. Mark Cerny comes out on stage. We're all like, you fucking mumble a bit, but I appreciate how much you love technology and stuff, Mark. It's very good. I'm looking forward to hearing about the PS5's fucking pixel ratios and stuff. Yeah, so that's what I think it is. So.
I think also it's just the lines are so long this year. Final Fantasy and Avengers 20, 30-minute demos, which is insane.
Yes.
I mean, you want to give people the best impression of the game possible when they actually play it, but that is long.
It is quite long.
Yeah, and then your waiting time is, 1 hour plus to play that demo.
Yeah.
I think if it was the back of the line Final Fantasy or something, they said it's a 3-hour wait, so...
That's ridiculous.
No, don't do that. I mean, I didn't do that.
You can almost play the original game in that amount of time.
I mean, yeah, the new versions have all the auto skip battle attack, fucking full HP and stuff. So yeah, go ahead. All right, so let's get into it. I want to do top 3 games at PAX that we've seen, and then we'll chuck around some honorable mentions. We're not going to do a big circle joke thing here. We're just going to do, I'll do 3, Ash do 3, Cherie do 3, and we'll go from there. So I've kind of put mine as, I've got one big game, I've got one small game, and then I've got technology. because we love technology. It's that time of year. So the first thing I'm going to say is Final Fantasy 7. I'm a huge Final Fantasy 7 fan, the original game. Absolutely, I was a big JRPG dork growing up in high school. I think I told the story on Arcade Couch at one point before where I was like, I went on Wikipedia and I printed off all the information about all the Final Fantasy games, and then I put them in a binder and I read that at night time because I'm a fucking nerd, I guess. I don't know. But that was
Took
fun.
the words out of my mouth.
Nerd.
So I played Final Fantasy 7, the 20-30 minute demo, whatever it is. It's the one that everyone's kind of read about and heard about, which is it's a fight early in the game. It's right at the start when Cloud's going in with like the militia group with Barrett and stuff, you're going to set off the bomb. And in the original game, you kind of go in and it introduces you to the mechanics. Obviously, it's very tutorial. It's like, here, turn-based battling, attack, and all this sort of stuff. This Final Fantasy 7 remake 100% deserves remake in the title because it's not just like, here's the same game, but it looks prettier. It 100% feels like a completely different game, which is exciting for someone or anyone that's played it before, obviously. You are mashing square or whatever button was square to attack enemies, and you can kind of do dodgy stuff. And the only time it feels like a kind of Final Fantasy game is when you click the tactical pause button or whatever it is, and you can assign ability commands, magic attacks. My favorite thing, though, is I just loved how fluently you could switch between just by hitting the diagonal buttons on the controller. You could just switch back and forth between either Barrett or Cloud, and there's no like pause or anything like that, or like the camera doesn't sweep up real high in the sky to kind of hide loading times or anything like that. It's just like back forth, really cool. So you can switch around, and then obviously Cloud's getting in there with the bigger sword and hitting away enemies, and then things that are flying in the air, Barrett's a lot better at shooting at with his machine gun arm, because as far as I'm concerned, that's what inspired Robert Rodriguez to chop Rose McGowan's leg off in Planet Terror. And that was really fun. Really enjoyed that. It looks pretty. The music sounds like Final Fantasy, so I had a great time playing that. My small pick is going to be, double-checking the title on my phone, Henry Moses and the Wormhole Conspiracy Theory, which is made by Bad Goat Studio. So this was a little adventure game that we played over at the back of the indie booth direction. Me and Cherie tried it out on a iPad or whatever. Yeah, it was an iPad. Tried it out on the iPad. It's an adventure game. It's got a really colorful, unique art style, which is probably what drew us to it in the first place, I guess. It was like, oh, pretty things over there in the corner. Try out that. And it's your typical adventure game stuff. It didn't like stand out from a gameplay point of view, I guess. It kind of stood out because it did have like an Australian flair on it. It's set like all the voice actors were Australian voices. It's like set future Melbourne or some sort of nonsense like that. And in the demo, you basically had to do the typical thing of finding a key to get this thing open, go to the door, you're dragging and dropping items, you're clicking on things, it's coming up, low, there's nothing there to find or whatever else. The voice acting was fun, but then also me and Cherie laughed out loud a couple times, so I thought that was a big plus because it was actually, was finding it funny. So that's going to be good. And by the time we got to the end of the demo, and basically the kid you're playing as, or a teenager, I think, sneaks on a spacecraft that his mum's going off to do work. I don't know, somewhere work or something like that. You sneak on that, and by the time we walked away from demo, I was like, yes, I kind of want to see where that goes. So I think that's obviously a big plus if you walk away from a demo not like, yeah, that was all right, but I don't know if I'd be in a rush to play more. Whereas that game, and usually when I try to pick like my favorite games at PAX is like, did I walk away like, if I could buy that tomorrow, would I like to continue playing it? And the answer for that one is yes. And then my one piece of tech that I'm going to say I'll go over sort of quickly because I want to either do a video or an article, maybe all of the above after.
Hopefully a video, because that's probably going to be the place
video
that makes
is
most
the
sense.
easiest way to show it. So yesterday, was it yesterday or the day before? I don't even remember now. PAX is long for 3 days. I went to this NVIDIA ray tracing behind closed doors event where they basically walked us through and explained what ray tracing was. And that's exciting to get people, even though I've done my research to try and understand it because it's coming up and it's like next gen technology that I want to be able to understand. We know the PlayStation 5 is going to have ray tracing. Presume the Xbox, whatever, is going to have. Did they announce it in its? I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they said it was going to be ray tracing and the Scarlet thing.
So Scarlet's going to have ray tracing. It's this exciting new technology. And basically the easiest way to explain it is it's like, if HDR is like making lighting, like dark colors and bright colors like stand out more and be more interesting in real life and giving you a more realistic color palette in your movies and games and sort of thing. Ray tracing is giving you more realistic lighting in a way that it's bouncing off and going across things. And that was honestly I've seen pictures of Control with ray tracing on, and it's like, that is super cool. I'm really enjoying that. I'm having a beautiful time looking at all these screenshots. But the thing was, when they invited it to us, they were like, hey, it's Minecraft. And I was like, cool. I don't know how much difference fucking Minecraft is going to have with ray tracing. And I went in kind of with that sort of mindset, and I literally told them when I was in there, but they sat us down. They said, here, have a go at Minecraft. And I was absolutely blown away. And I've got a whole bunch of footage that'll go up on youtube.com/Explosion Network and ExplosionNetwork.com, of course, of this stuff. But you could flick it on and off, and I did heaps of slow pans and stuff I'll be able to edit together. But Minecraft just doesn't even look the same. The blue of water that kind of just looks like nothing. There'll be fish underneath it, and when I turned on the real lighting, because all of a sudden the water would go like see-through, I'd be able to see that there's fish under there. Crystals would sign out. Lava pits, the lava glow would be blowing up the walls, whereas in the original Minecraft it was just this like red whatever boring blocks down below. I was absolutely blown away, and much I feel very similar about it I do about HDR, where I was like, HDR I don't really understand, but then when I got to see things like Mad Max Fury Road on 4K Blu-ray and this sort of thing, and showing how it stands out in that, I got to understand it, and I'm super excited. And now I'm big, like, HDR and everything, please. I'm coming on board with ray tracing between playing Minecraft and like seeing Control and these sorts of things. I did have a quick go at Control, but not enough to be like, this is amazing, blowing me away. I was like, the pictures are blowing me away enough. So look for more on all of those things from me, of course, in the future.
I mean, maybe you're going to be spoiled for choice, or spoiled now. You won't be able to play any games that don't have ray tracing.
It is honestly one of those things. Honestly, like, it's one of those things. It's like,
oh, this 2D action game doesn't have any ray tracing in it. Yeah, terrible.
I'm gonna turn into a proper PC hardcore nerd, so Kieran will be happy. I'll be like, get your fucking non-ray tracing shit out of here. What's your games?
My games. Kick things off. Iron Man VR. So we went into the PlayStation section. Tried out PlayStation V. Iron Man VR. Really cool demo. Pretty much sort of a tutorial where you're just testing out the suit. It seems like Tony Stark is like doing some sort of tests on making sure everything's working.
Yeah, it doesn't. I'm not sure if that's going to be in the game or if it's like a.
I feel like it is definitely the kickoff.
Like the start of the game.
It's definitely the start of the game, and then go around. You practice on some drones, like shooting stuff and things. It is super. It makes total sense as soon as you start playing it. You move the move controllers, and you are moving the arm thrusters all over the place. You totally feel like you're flying. It's crazy. Then you can do the full repulsor things, shooting drones out of the air. And then the only issue I had was with turning and stuff. But talking to Buddy Watson from dashgamer.com, he said there's some other buttons you can press as well that weren't included in the demo that make turning easier.
Yeah. So this is one thing I was going to bring up. Because when I had a quick squiz before, like as I was walking past to see for people, one thing that people were getting stuck on, and this comes down to me having played a lot of PSVR games, obviously. When it got to the point where you'd fly in a certain direction, you're like, I want to do a 180 turn. How do I do that? Basically, all PSVR games where I've ever had to do like that sort of control, where I've had if my hands are both my move controllers or whatever, they've always set the 90-degree turns to one of the buttons on each of the controllers. So I automatically, my brain just starts hitting buttons, and I find out that it's square on the left one and triangle on the right one, or something like that.
Yeah, I was going for the arrow buttons, I think, which was
So that was like a thing where I'm like, I'm used to this, so I picked up on what it is. But even then, I would say that game is just one where it's like, if you're not experienced with VR, I have no idea how you're going to comprehend it, because like it's going to feel really cool when you're playing it and you're doing cool things, but it's like you got to hold your left hand down here to keep yourself like hovering, like straight down, and then pull out another one, hold a button on it, and then aim at stuff and shoot, and then like not accidentally like move this other hand, because if you move the other hand forward without releasing the button, all of a sudden you're like flying yourself backwards. You know what I mean? Like it's.
But then I really enjoyed it because the other thing is it doesn't feel like you're falling very much, so you didn't feel motion sick, but it did feel like you're falling, I guess, when you try and kind of use both arms for repulsors and that kind of thing. So yeah, Iron Man VR looks very cool. Definitely want to play it, especially if there's more story stuff. I mean, the voice acting was all right. It wasn't like standout or anything, but it was totally fine.
I don't know who it was.
Yeah, they were talking to Friday and they were talking to Pepper and that kind of thing. So I assume someone comes and attacks Tony Stark's house.
Well, yeah, I presume. If that's the tutorial, putting together what we see in the trailers, I'm like, tutorial, go to house, cutscene, gets on plane, heads off in plane inside, Ghost shows up.
Yeah.
hacks Tony Stark, and that's kind of where all the trailer comes together for that. The only thing I'll say about motion sickness is, as I said when I was playing the other day, is that I purposely wanted to kind of test the motion sickness, which is why I skipped the marker for the start of the tutorial, flew all the way over to Tony Stark's house and like saw ground below me, went up as high as I could, and then put my thrusters above my face so I could propel myself really fast down to the ground. And even I, like once I hit it, like, well, it was like for ages, I'm like, this feels fine, but it's like that thing your mind tricks you when the ground suddenly started coming up fast, where it was like right in front of me, like your brain kind of just wants to brace. Like you're like, I'm falling. Oh, I'm good. Okay, my legs didn't break, which they
disappointing. Not unrealistic. Yeah,
no,
you could just run into stuff all the time, but small
details. Yes,
small things.
That's general Tony Stark details in general, as far as I'm concerned.
He's probably got like some force field or something, so he doesn't.
I've seen people point out, it's like if Tony Stark was real and he landed like he does, like from however high, it's like he'd break his legs inside that machine.
No, there's just a ton of padding in there.
Maybe.
Also played Fall Guys, the new game from Mediatonic. That's the studio, Devolver Digital. The 100-person battle royale. It's like Wipeout in video game form. I think me and Cherie both played that one.
We've all played it.
Yeah,
we've all played it.
Yep.
Yeah, there are a bunch of different levels. You try and like little mini game sort of things, and then people get slowly knocked out until you get into this final course where you have to catch this crown. I'm pretty sure it was at the E3 show, Devolver Showcase. It was one of the only games.
It was the only game I think they announced there, which is fun.
Yeah, that is a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. As long as there's more levels than just the 5 that we saw, which were the ones that we saw in that showcase,
yes,
I feel it'll be awesome. Otherwise, I worry it'll be repetitive.
I think that they'll have the ability to really build on that, though. Like, there's so many little cutie things and adaptations that they can make for each level to make that work and to change it up slightly for each level. So, they could combine different things from what we saw and create one level as well and sort of build on from that. So I'd say that there's going to be quite a variety to be able to keep the interest going.
Yeah, so I get that. If I can get my head right. So the first one you do is like there's all these doors in front of you for people listening at home. It's like there's all these doors. You got to run through it, try and find the one that isn't locked, which is random, it seems, right?
Some of them are locked, some of them are not.
Yeah, so that's like where it starts with 100 players, and then like the ones that
take the longest to get knocked out.
I wasn't sure like the maths on what ones they knock out.
I assume there's a set number of people
per thing.
So otherwise you'd end up with like 10 people left and still 6 mini games to go.
Exactly. And the second one was what would you call it? Like these shapes and holes and walls.
It was like set on like a disco floor, but then it's like
a sweeper style where it sweeps you off the edge. So you have to try and fit into where the gaps are so that you don't fall off the platform and get wiped out of the game.
That was a TV show at one point.
That was that is a wipeout thing, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. And then that was the third one.
That was the
tail.
No, the team one, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, there's eggs. So you got to run to the middle, pick up some eggs, take them back to your base. You split into 3 teams. Team with the highest, team with the lowest points, they all get kicked out. And then the fourth one was you got to run around and try and find some tails, which me and Cherie were playing it.
I was playing and Dylan was getting so worked up.
I was getting so stressed.
He was like, get the tail. I'm like, I've got the tail. So you put the tail on and then someone's got to try and steal it back from you and you have to have a tail by the end of the round.
Yeah.
And Dylan was getting so stressed out. I was like, I got it. He's like, run. I'm like, I've got it.
It was because it was the last 8 seconds. I'm like, she only has the last 8 seconds.
Just run around, go up the ramp.
And there was a split second where she started like seemed like she was going to turn towards people. And I'm like, just run to people.
Backseat gaming, jeez.
Yeah, no, well, I want to win. We're teamwork.
And we almost did. We almost did win.
I got second. So because the last round takes you to an uphill run, I guess, where there's like all these swinging obstacles and whatever else. And you got to get to the crown at the top. And it was that awkward thing where I ran all the way top. I'm like, think I'm just about to jump off there. And then someone gets the crown. I'm like, damn, well, I got second. Whatever.
We were jumping towards the crown and someone else beat us. So
yeah, so I don't know if you almost won.
Look, we came second. Just
don't Vin Diesel me, all right?
It doesn't matter how far.
It doesn't matter how far you win. Winning's winning.
No, I find it interesting. It's just those mini games have a certain level of strategy, I think. You could work on and
a level of randomness
that makes it interesting.
Yeah.
So it's not just good players getting through every time.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yep. And then my third one, Best Friends Forever from Starcult Games. I saw over at the exhibit next. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. It's
Exhibit.
Next exhibit.
Did you say Exhibit X?
Exhibit next.
Okay, next exhibit, I think.
I
But
think
whatever.
that's the Twitter handle.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So, Best Friends Forever, that's the dog dating sim sort of game where everybody in the city is a dog and they all want to date.
Yes.
It's a fun visual novel type game. I played through the introduction where you pretty much get to the new town and you get introduced to everybody in like a adoption thing, and you get your own doggo called Cheeseball who steals your luggage and then he poops.
Oh, nice.
And
In the
he
luggage
barks.
or no?
He barks. You get in the top right corner, there's a list of everything he does. He barks at people and he licks people and then he poops all the time. And then he's staring at you in the bottom right corner. It's really good. And it's really adorable art style. The voice acting is pretty solid. There was only a little bit of voice acting, so I don't know if it's going to be for everything or if it was just for the intro and for
They
like,
might not have
dates or
done it
something.
all or something. Yeah.
Yeah, they're still in development, I'd imagine. But yeah, that was really cool.
So that's hold on, because it's like dog pooping, lots of things.
Yeah.
But it's a dating game where
It
you're
is,
trying.
yeah.
So you're not trying to date dogs though.
No, everybody has a dog, but
Yes.
you know, you're trying to.
So you're potentially
But-
trying
but-
to date
but the
people
dating
because
app's
of their
called-
dogs.
The dating app's called Woofer, so
So you're matching with people because you're like, oh, I like corgis and stuff.
Yeah.
And then they're like, ding, ding,
dogs bringing people together.
Hashtag cuties.
Yeah, it is a hashtag cuties game. Cuties approved.
So if you played boyfriend, what's that one called?
Hattable
No,
Boyfriend.
Hattable Boyfriend. What's the daddy?
Dream Daddy.
Dream Daddy. Yes, but it's with dogs.
It looks kind of like that.
with
yeah.
dogs
With dogs.
Okay.
Which means it's better.
automatically.
Yeah.
100%.
All the dogs have cool names. All
Sold.
different breeds. No? And it looks like there's some sort of management because the dogs have stats and stuff, and you have like activities to set for the week. So yeah, I think there's a certain lots of layers.
Cherie.
Pokemon. That's basically
Never heard of
what
it.
sums up my. That's
Never heard of it.
basically what sums up my PAX. So I went and tried out Pokemon Sword and Shield on the first day. And it's basically what you could expect from a Pokemon game. I say that being new to Pokemon, but I'm pretty sure by now I kind of know what to expect.
There's
So-
cuties.
And yeah, there's cuties,
There's
and
Pokemon.
you battle up some people, and you do all those things. So basically, it was a 20-minute demo, and you got to go through and do a bit of a water puzzle, which takes you through with all the trainers. And
So you was in a gym, I guess.
you weren't in a gym yet.
Oh.
This is like entrancing into the gym, and then
Right.
you get into the big gym stadium, and then you battle up the gym leader Nessa. You have all of the starter Pokemon, as well as
Corviknight?
Yampa. Yeah, Corviknight, Yampa, and Wooloo. So I basically just took my time going through and trying out to see how they all were, what their abilities are, what they sort of started with. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. It looked really, really good. And I think too, the demo didn't really give away too much for what new elements they might be bringing to the game. So you didn't get to see any of that sort of open world style that they've been talking about or anything like that. It's just literally go in, battle up some trainers, have the cuties, and
Yeah.
satisfaction.
Beat up these trainers, take their money.
That's why Ash hates Pokemon. He's always going on about how it's like secretly a evil.
I
Cult.
mean, it's like dog fighting. No. What were there any interesting Pokemon from the other trainers, or were they like basic stuff?
So Croconaw was one of them, and we got to see the really, really cutie one, which was the little, I can't remember the name of her, but the little
flower
flower
thing?
one. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
They're cute. That's all that really matters here. So I didn't extra hype me for the game or anything. I was already pretty hyped, but I was really happy with what I saw, and it just it was a good, again, like we've spoken a lot about that introduction into new Pokemon games. So basically, the demo was what you'd expect from a Pokemon game. It delivered. Sold.
Well, I'm still because I said this with Go last year. I'm gonna 100% put my money on that. There was a lot of people turning up to PAX this year, haven't played a quote unquote proper Pokemon game before either, because I just think every time I just look at the Pokemon Let's Go numbers and stuff, I'm like, that's such a amount of new people coming in. So I suppose a demo that's just like, here, battle some people, whatever. Also, my favorite thing about Pokemon this year is you don't, because last year it was like, come play Let's Go, but you have to use the fucking stupid Pokeball controller. At least this year.
People shaking the controllers trying to throw the Pokeballs?
Did you have to play with Switch Joy-Cons in a thing, or was you playing with a Pro Controller thing?
The actual Switch and the Joy-Cons.
The Switch Lite?
Oh, you was playing it handheld?
Yeah.
Okay, so you was playing
but
it
was projected, yeah.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
So, and that's exactly right. I feel like they were just marketing towards, okay, this is what the game basis kind of is. It wasn't towards like current Pokemon players. I was really enjoying it because I just took my time to go through and see what they were all doing, what their abilities were. So I was excited. So that was probably a highlight for me.
Did it change your preference on what starter you're going to have?
No, I'm still going with Skull Bunny. When I got my cool pin for playing, the guy said that was the least picked starter.
Haters.
Which is ridiculous.
That is surprising, actually.
Ridiculous.
Everyone's over here like, oh, let's get Sobble. He looks so sad. Fuck off, Sobble.
Yeah, sad is cool.
He's just getting points. He's just getting sympathy points. That's not acceptable. But yeah, and then Ash stole my second choice, which was Fall Guys. And I really enjoy that. I would love to see all the outfits and things, because what Ash didn't include was the cutie factor, which is they look like little sausage donuts almost, wearing outfits running around. And
they look like adorable minions.
That's pretty
better
accurate.
looking minions.
And you can dress them up in all sorts of cool costumes and colors and patterns and whatever else. So they looked like a huge selection, but obviously we don't have time to go through all that. So that was cool.
That's the DLC. There'll be skins. That's where the microtransactions come.
Possibly. Do you have a third?
I'm not really sold on a third slot. There was a few that kind of were on par. So
you want shout outs?
Dylan and I checked out Luigi's Mansion, which was, I think, a little bit different to what I thought. And we both kind of had similar, questions that would only be answered when you actually play the game. But that looks really cool. I think it will be quite fun. We did get to play it in like a dark room with cool lighting and everything, so it was spooky.
I'll give it, because Luigi's Mansion's out in
couple of
weeks. It's out on October 31st, and I've been looking forward to the game. But the thing is, I've never played Luigi's Mansion before, so I was keen to finally give it a go and be like, do I actually want to pick this up or not? And I still do. I want to pick it up. It was kind of hard for me to,
in that amount of time, I found,
to grasp. There was a lot more mechanics than I don't know. I thought it was a lot simpler. I guess I don't know, because I haven't played one before. But it's like, you got to flashlight the damn ghosts. Some of them are charging at you with shields. The shields, you have to like send a plunger at them and then suck the plunger off with the shield. So then you're able to stun them, and then you got to suck them, and then it comes up like mash A and all this sort of stuff. And I got to be like, it took me 5 minutes. I think there was one point where I looked behind at the Nintendo lady that was kind of watching me. Fail with one ghost, where I was just when it kept coming up, press A to like slam it back and forth on the ground. I was just like not pressing it all, because I'm like, what do you mean press? Like, I don't know what I'm missing.
Press
around.
A.
Yeah, just shut up, Ash. I turned around and I was like, yeah, look, leave me alone. But I was having fun, and the game looks really cool. Like graphic wise, I mean, like it's quite pretty. There's lots happening. I like how the environments, there's lots of stuff to suck up and whatever else. Like right at the start of the demo, there's a watermelon over in the corner, so I kind of just sucked it up, and then you can press the other button and you can shoot it out. So I began shooting watermelons around the place. So that was fun. But yeah, when I got to the boss at the end, I was like, I have no idea how I'm supposed to beat this fucking boss.
And I think that was my sort of thing as well, is that with that type of game, if you're not familiar with it, because that was the first thing that she asked me, have you played one before? You kind of want a little bit more time to get into it before you're right in the middle of the game doing things, because you kind of don't know what you're, obviously there's lots of things you get coins from and things like that, but you don't know all of that 100%. And then there are several other weapon mechanics that you don't know exactly, because every ghost is different. So so that's a good one. It's not gonna like
blow the world away.
Yeah, blow the world away, but it's again probably what you'd expect. So I'm still really keen to pick that up.
Do you have any more shout outs?
And there's this really cutie cat game, and it's called I don't know exactly how to pronounce it, so I apologize in advance, but it's called either Necograms or Necrograms or something completely different that I'm not saying. And it's this just like a little mobile game. We played it on an iPad, and you have cats that can move one way, and you have cushions that can move the opposite way. And it's like a little puzzle game where you have to get the cats on the cushions to go to sleep. And you have little obstacles, and it's just a real cutie game.
Cutie game. Okay.
Yeah.
Ash, do you have any shout outs?
We just tried out Bleeding Edge.
I was going to bring this up because honestly, way more fun than I thought I was going to have.
Yeah. Obviously, we'd all saw that trailer back at
E3, wasn't it? Or was it Game Awards?
Game Awards, I think.
Yeah, probably.
And it didn't look great, but
No.
actually playing it was a lot of fun. I mean, it's Overwatch, but
Yes.
Melee.
Yes.
But that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
I was having a good time,
yeah,
especially because we were winning. So esports
Smash 'em.
teams, sign us up.
Yeah, we're going to be Bleeding Edge pros, basically. Yeah, I had really good. Like, I start the game and I'm like, because that was the pitch, right? You know, melee Overwatch. I'm like, I don't know how much I'm going to enjoy like a melee Overwatch game. I don't know if that sounds my type of thing. But I boot up the character selection. I see there's some psycho witch granny rolling around on a bowl. I'm like, okay, I'm in. I'm going to pick this character, and we're going to go for gold because this is the way to go. And it was fun. It's like, it is very Overwatchy. You've got, several different maps or whatever. And there's, objective A, B, C, and your goal is to control all of those, which increases the points you get when you're killing the enemies and so on and so forth. And then much like Overwatch, it's like characters have two different types of abilities, which one you could, or three, I guess, because at the start you could pick between two different ones, I guess, so you can preset it depending on how you want to play the character, I guess. There was like an offensive one or a defensive one. And then when you roll in, it's like there are characters that are like melee assassins who have like a lot less health. I don't know. I was thinking about the game a lot like League of Legends, I guess. Like there was, you got the ones with light health.
Tanks and then support.
Yeah, you've got tanks and supports, and I think we won basically because every single time there was like a team fight happening. It's 4v4, by the way, Fiddlers. Every time a team fight was breaking out, everyone was on the enemy team was like focusing on the person that was playing our tank, who's just like, yeah, I'll take damage for days, I guess, bro.
That was me.
And
so I'm just used to getting smashed in this game, so I mean, it's fine.
I think that Dylan, too, you had a good character. Because I noticed
no, I'm
when
a good player.
Okay, we'll give you the points for that, but also I just think that the character you had was awesome because you could kind of zip around a little bit quicker than everyone else from what I could see, because you were on this little ball cauldron. I want to call it like a weird cauldron thing.
Everyone gets, when you get off, everyone has a mount
Hoverboard.
of some sort. So some characters have hoverboards, scooters, or whatever, and mine was a bowl
cauldron.
or whatever it is. And I kind of like the way it works because because it is a melee-based fighting game, and by that I don't mean like it's Street Fighter Tekken, like you've got to be countering stuff or whatever. It's just obviously, unlike Overwatch, it's a game where there's going to be the team fights and stuff are going to be a lot more close quarters, and you're not going to be like sniping dudes off in the far distance or anything like that. And I like the way the mounts work because you can't just instantaneously jump on your mount and like piss off out of the fight or anything like that. The mounts, you have to stay still, you have to be stationary, and you have to hold down the right analog button to get on. It takes like, 2-3 seconds or something probably to jump on. Yeah, so it's not like, oh, I'm losing this fight, I'll press a button and I'll run away. No, if you get corner cucked, which I did several times, what are you laughing about? If you get corner cucked several times,
bringing it back.
Bringing it back. I hope you're listening, Nick. If you get corner cucked, you basically get held up against the wall and you're fucked. I don't know how to put it else. You get corner cucked real hard.
That's what that means.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was good. Squidgy's the new game by Giant Margarita. It's a puzzle game where you pretty much lemmings, but with squidgy little octopuses with no tentacles.
Hashtag cuties. They do have little tentacles. They're just tiny.
It's like the little one from Nemo. The little octopus one. There's friends with.
And they're like, woo!
I just inked. Yeah, that one.
Do you want to explain what the game is?
It's just a series of puzzles where you're trying to save as many as possible. And each of the squidgies has a different ability. Some of them like speed up all the ones that come after it. Some of them conduct electricity. Some of them like block things. So yeah, it looks like they've got a bunch of different levels that you can go through at whatever order you want to go through. But yeah, that's coming to Nintendo Switch.
Switch exclusive.
Switch exclusive.
Squidge.
And
Squidge exclusive.
Switch exclusive.
And Giant Margarita's first single player game.
Single player game.
No
yeah.
party games. So.
No. Well, just wait till the Party Squidgies
Party
expansion.
Squidgies expansion. Yeah. You got any more?
I also tried out Darksiders Genesis. That was
All right. Yep.
pretty solid. Yeah, better than I was expecting. Obviously, top-down hack and slash game.
Diablo, right?
Diablo, pretty much.
Without the loot.
Yeah, without. Oh, there's a little. No,
Not
there wasn't
enough
any
loot.
loot.
Diablo's got
There was
fucking
no loot.
everywhere. Come
It
on.
was just like souls and that kind of thing that you pick up,
Okay.
and that kind of thing. But yeah, it was good. It didn't look the prettiest thing that I've seen at the show so far, but it was serviceable, and it was just fun to play as the two god characters, Strife and War. Totally different. So, and when you're playing solo, you can like switch between the two. So
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that for one reason only, which is that I love the original Darksiders. I started playing 2 when it came out because I really loved the first one. Got like halfway through it, and I was like, it's just more of the same. And like, Def's kind of a boring ass character who's just like, I'm fucking emo and whatever else. Get out of here. At least War was like a bit more interesting. And then I put out Darksiders 3, and I'm like, it came out at a weird time. I'm like, fuck that game. So I'm at least looking forward to them. Like, we've got this cool IP, Darksiders, Horsemen of the Apocalypse. You know, cool. And they're going to continue it. They're just like, we'll get away from the hashtag fucking Zelda-inspired dungeon setup and stuff that was happening in the first ones and stuff. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That it?
yes, that I can think of.
Okay, so I'll talk about Avengers for a little bit, I guess. I don't know if this is a shout out more as I
You
feel
feel
like
obligated to talk about it.
A note.
because I was like, we've talked about on this show how much I really just did not like anything that I was seeing people talk about. All the articles I read, I was like, this sounds bad. Everything, all the trailers I saw, I'm like, this sounds bad. And I'm not going to come here and be like, yeah, suddenly I'm like really turned around. I played it and I've changed everything about my mind. Not that, but I've seen things that kind of intrigue me now. So you've got all the characters. This is played through the exact same demo that they've talked about online, where it's the start of the game and the demo basically changes around characters. So you start as Thor, who I wrote down in my notes is Thor was poor man's God of War, because it's the exact same mechanic where you throw an axe in a direction, and then you tap a button to have it come back. Except for it doesn't feel as good. Like gameplay wise, it does work. You hold L2,
It does the same
you
job.
press R2. Thor does indeed throw an axe. However, I think
Hammer.
the number one hammer, whatever, fuck off. Thor. He throws his Mjolnir Morny thing, and then
Mjolnir.
it's minions. He throws his minion across the room. And I think the number one difference between this and God of War, though, is that when God of War, when you call it back, there's just such an oomph and power to it that you really feel it. Like
There's just something in the controller.
it's a
nailed.
sound and everything. I don't know. Like they just nailed that axe. Whereas every time I called back Thor's minion, it would just fucking land on my hand. I'm like, oh, cool. It's like a
Cool,
fucking.
I have it back.
It's a Target $30 kids toy that's coming back to me here. You know, that's not super interesting. And then also the rest of his combat was just mash buttons, whatever. Not super interesting. Iron Man was meh. I didn't see anything of super interest or intrigue out of the Iron Man gameplay. Actually, it was like flying around in the air, pressing R2 that shoots flying drones. It was like a very on-rail segment.
So not as good as the VR.
No, if you're looking for good Iron Man at PAX, it was definitely in the VR. Iron Man was my least interesting part of this whole thing. So then you've got Hulk, which was basically literally just press buttons, things will break, things will smash. I think the one thing that made Hulk somewhat interesting to play was that there was like some traversal and you felt like powerful. It did feel like Hulk was a running cannonball tank. You know, like you could jump off trucks and stuff and launch yourself off that to another thing and kind of semi-wall run, and then you press X and you jump really high up into there, and then you could come down and literally do a big old Hulk smash. So that was good. And then Captain America was basically playing Batman Arkham. Like, felt very similar to Batman, very fast. He's throwing punches around. You're doing dodges a lot, you know, jumping around dudes, making sure you're not going to hit, because if he gets hit, you kind of is going to go flying backwards. But the number one thing that stood out in the game, and this I'm just following up what people have said previously, is that the Black Widow stuff is the best part of the game, and that's because it's the only time you get to fight a boss fight in the whole thing, which makes you actually have to know the mechanics and do different things. It wasn't like an on-rails segment that was very boring. So you play as Black Widow, you're fighting as Taskmaster, which that has to be a tie into the movie as far as I'm concerned, you know, like...
Maybe. I think it's just coincidence more
You
than
think
anything
it's
else.
coincidence?
Obviously, this game has been in development for 3 years at this point from
Yeah.
memory. They announced the thing, and you imagine they're probably working it before they even announced it. But
It's a very good coincidence if that's true. But yeah, so you fight as Taskmaster, who, if you haven't like played him in, like he shows up in Spider-Man last year, of course, spoilers. And Taskmaster's whole thing is like he adapts and learns what his
I can copy all
I
your
can
moves.
copy all your moves, and you do this like kind of cool fight where he's kind of like parrying all the shit that Black Widow's doing. And by the way, I hate Black Widow in the movies because I'm like Scarlett Johansson bores the fuck out of me. But in this, she was interesting. I was like, she's fun to play. I'm bringing out my pistols. I'm like, beep, beep, beep. I'm Red Sparrow, Jennifer Lawrence come at me, and then dodging attacks, grappling in, and then at the end you go like all Invisicloak. And then Taskmaster's like, I'll learn how to adapt to fucking nothing because you can't see me. Get down. And you're taken down. And then, of course, as we've seen in the trailer, everything blows up and I guess Captain America dies or whatever the story is. So I'm not sold, but I'm at least not fully like hating everything. And the game definitely didn't look great. Like, that's the thing. You watch all those trailers, like the character models and stuff. Do they look weird when you're playing it? Yes, they still looked very weird to me. The character models just look odd. They don't, and this is 100%, I think this is what we talked about it when the trailer happened. It is surely a brand association thing, but I think that is that is just a critique at this point. It's like, we've seen 10 years of these fucking movies, and it's just, I'm not saying they have to look like Robert Downey Jr. and everything, but it's just because they just don't look anything like either that or the animated version or the comic book version. They don't look like anything I know, and my brain's just having a really hard time dealing with it.
Yeah, I was going to say, you didn't have that problem with Marvel Ultimate Alliance. I mean,
No, because they all look like the comic book characters.
Yeah,
They look more closer to something that my brain can actually pick up and understand compared to everything else seen here.
I mean, Peter Parker didn't look like any Peter Parker before and that kind of thing, so...
I guess I don't have as much association because we've been through a new Spider-Man.
We've been through 20...
You want to check the news? Is there a new Spider-Man announced yet? Jesus Christ.
Still Tom Holland. It's all good.
Every bloody 2 minutes there's a new Spider-Man getting announced. And then the last thing I was just going to quickly shout out was the, I don't know, like the Sacrifice Goat. What was it called? Sacrificial Lamb. Thank you. Sacrificial Lamb over at
Massive Monster.
Massive Monster. Thank you. Massive Monster, which they're saying is a prototype and like a proof of concept, I guess. But and I don't know how much that's going to basically translate into a real game. But if you've played any of their games before, really cute art style, great character designs. You play as a demon, I guess, technically, because the game starts with you getting taken over. Like the lamb is just a lamb. It's hopping around, doing its lammy ways, going about its lammy day, doing whatever lambs do. I don't know. And then like it gets taken over by this demon thing. And next second, it's like, cool, I'm going to go take over some more animals. You for whatever reason, you have the ability to cut some wood, build a bridge, get over it.
Make beds for your friends.
Make beds for your friends. So there's like a semi, I don't know, survival-ish aspect, like build beds, food, places for these people you're going to have living that you're going to sacrifice. But you're not going to tell them that. And you set up all this stuff. And then you also build like a demon gate to hell. You head through the gate, and then down there it's like a sort of procedurally generated like dungeon crawler. I guess like there's, different, you head left, right, different rooms. You can open up a map. You can bump into random things. And basically down there you can cut open wood, stones, and all these things, send that back to your home base. And then while you're there, you can do all that stuff to build. And then in different rooms, you can come across different animals. And they're all cuties. I'm sure you can attest.
Oh, hashtag cuties. They are all cuties. I mean, all of their games and the art style, it's all similar, but it's all cuties. I mean, last year, Boomerang FU was one of our favorite games of PAX. And yeah, I think this game upcoming will definitely be just as good as their others.
Yeah, so you collect all the cutie animals, and then you can either sacrifice them or bring them back and keep them as friends. And there's like ducks, pigs, horses.
And the guy before you sort of just kept them all as friends, where you just sacrifice them all.
Yeah, I sacrifice them all.
It's called Sacrificial Lamb.
It's literally in the game title. They need to get their shit together. Yeah, so that's kind of my last shout out, I guess, for PAX this year. No one thought of anything at the last couple seconds?
Shout out to Camped Out. Renamed
of course, yes.
from last year, Scouts Honor.
Scouts Honor.
RIP. But Camped Out, great. They made some cool improvements that we Dylan noticed like different UI things that made it better.
100% listen to everything I said as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. So Andrew, we expect to check.
Yes. So that'll be it for this.
Can we get a pin update, Cherie? Because last year you were very upset. You bought
pins.
Complaining non-stop. No pins.
I didn't get my cutie pins. So the guys, Paul and Julian at Massive Monster, they sent me a banana pin last year because I missed out. So shout out to them. So that was awesome. And then this year I almost died because they had a grumpy watermelon, which I also got. And then I've gotten a bunch of other cutie pins from there. So my Party Poppers pin that I didn't get last year. And Fall Guys had also cutie pins.
Cool.
That is the hashtag pin update. Welcome. See us at 2020 for the next pin update.
One more thing. I just remembered Bing Team. They had an arcade cabinet to play the Bing Team game, which you play as like a UFO trying to destroy a planet, and then meteors come and you've got to not get shot out of the sky.
Yes. The game is fun, but we're basically pointing it out because it's the only arcade game we've ever talked about on Arcade Couch.
I mean, there was the lawnmower game there as well.
We didn't play that this year. We played it last year.
Yeah, we did.
It was fun. I'm sure it's the same. It was an arcade machine.
Arcade machine.
Yeah, good. Smash them. So that's it. Don't forget to, of course, head on over to explosionnetwork.com/PAX for all our PAX coverage, which will be continuing into the week following PAX as we edit things, write things, etc. Next week's not the upcoming episode of Plat if you're listening to today, this post, but the following episode of Plat will be a bit of a PlayStation focus breakdown of PAX as well. So that's what's going to be happening there. And once again, of course, thanks for the lovely folks. One lovely folk in particular who's looking at me right now at the Audio-Technica booth for letting us record. This is the third year in a row. Get hyped, of course, at PAX. So that's great. Once again, thank you to them. And you can follow me on Twitter at Vivaldil, of course, VIVALADIL. Ash on Twitter at AshLeyHSHLEYHOBLEY, and Cherie on Twitter at Cherie Corno, CHERICORNOO. And Explosion Network at Explosion Pod. And again, explosionnetwork.com for all your gaming, podcast, news, articles, and reviews that you need. PAX is over. Go home. Bye. Thank you. Love you. Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Cool. So how do you feel about that Galarian ponytail, Cherie?
Oh my God. So good. Hashtag kitties.